back to another video. This is going to be me reading 3 of TikTok's most hyped books right now. Well, one of them is kind of a book that's been hyped for a while. I always see this series on TikTok, so I'm gonna add it in here because I'm halfway through the series anyway, so I'm gonna read the next one. But starting off strong, you probably know I'm talking about Happy Place by Emily Henry. I was given a playlist to listen to while I read, so I'm just gonna listen to that and really give this a try and just see if I like it. If you don't know what Happy Place is, it is Emily Henry's newest release. Emily Henry wrote Beach Read and Book Lovers, so I'm assuming it's a romance. I really don't know much about it, and very summary cover, so I'm just hoping that it's everything that everyone says it is, because people love this book. Some people hate this book, so we'll just have to see. And then right along to the next one, same thing, Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I feel like this is such a big deal right now. This book is huge. So I'm doing a buddy read with a friend, and I even got the first copy that came out, which is the one with the sprayed edges. I was really lucky, and I found a copy at Target right before it exploded. Like, I had seen a couple of TikToks about it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go buy this book because I'm psycho crazy and I buy books right away. Yeah, so the Goodreads rating for this is like a 4.6, if I'm not wrong, which is crazy. I've never seen a rating so high for a book that's so new. I feel like that doesn't really happen. So this is just very exciting. I cannot wait to read it, and I love fantasy romance, and I know that this is what this is, with dragons and politics, so I'm just so hyped. And doing it as a buddy read is going to be so fun, so I'm going to be reading this as well. And then my third and final one that I'm going to be reading is Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher, which is the second in the Dreamland Billionaires series. And I've read the first one, I've read the fine print. I didn't really like the fine print, if I'm going to be honest. Like, the fine print was a really good romance, and I liked the characters. Like, there was something wrong with the characters themselves, but the setting, like being in a theme park and it being like kind of like almost a knockoff of Disney World. I know that it was like it probably was Disney World in this world that this author wrote, but I don't know, it felt so cheesy to me. Like, I couldn't get behind them doing grown-up things around a theme park. Like, I just was kind of like, I don't know, like, there were some really good messages in that book. So I'm hoping, basically what I'm trying to say is I'm hoping that this redeems the series for me, because I have heard the last one, the last couple, is a really good one. So I kind of want to get through this one. This is the couple named Declan and Iris. So I read the fine print so long ago, so I don't even remember who these people are, if I've even met them before. So okay, so basically I just hope that this just gets redeemed for me, and then I can go on to the last one, which I can't even think of what that one's called. I can't think of it. But whatever it is, I want to read the last one, because I heard the last couple is the best couple. So I just have to kind of push through this one. So I'm gonna add it in here, and I'm just gonna give it a whirl. Hopefully it doesn't put me in a slump, because the fine print put me in a slump. So there's that. So basically, here's the plan. I'm gonna start with Fourth Wing, because it is a buddy read. And I'm gonna read probably about 50 pages, 60 pages of this book, maybe 100 pages of this book, and put it down. And then I'm gonna move on to Happy Place. So I'm gonna be doing kind of like a tandem thing. I'm not gonna read one and the other then the other. I'm gonna be going kind of back and forth between the books, just these first two. Once I finish Fourth Wing, because I am doing a buddy read, once I finish it, then I will just be reading one at a time. Like, I'll just finish Happy Place, and then I'll go on to Terms and Conditions. So I don't know how long it's gonna take me to film this video, and like when it's even gonna be out, like when I'm even gonna release it. But as of right now, I'm hoping like a week. I can finish these in a week, because I have off, and so I'm gonna be doing a lot of reading. We'll just see how this goes. I am so excited for the Fourth Wing, guys. Like, this is such a hyped book for me personally. Like, I think this is a really good fit for me. I think I'm gonna really vibe with it. So fingers crossed, because if it's terrible, I will be very upset. Okay, I'm gonna start reading, and I will update you guys soon. has been unbelievable. So basically from the beginning, I was completely sucked in. Like, first page, I knew I was gonna love it. That is super unheard of for me. Even ACOTAR, it took me like 200 pages to get invested. This, I was invested from the beginning. It gave me super strong Divergent vibes. Now, if you've seen that movie or read those books, I read those back when they were big, back around like the Hunger Games time, back when like dystopian books was like super popular. And it reminds me of this because of the factions that they have in Divergent. Like, if you were smart, or if you're strong, or if you're political, or like you would do all these different kinds of things. So then you would like pick, and then you'd have to follow through with what you picked, because that's what you do. That's going to be your job. Or if you decide to change, but you can't decide to change, basically. Same kind of thing. Like, you go in, you choose what you're going to be, and then you either do it or you die kind of situation. So that's why it feels pretty similar to me to Divergent in that way. But this has dragons, so it's just that much better. The dragons themselves in this book are super different than any dragons I've ever came across in these kinds of books. So, for example, in Priory of the Orange Tree, the dragons are very stoic. Like, they do talk, like very serious dialogue, and they're just like serious creatures. They don't have a lot of emotion. These dragons in this book, the dragons are super emotional, have personalities, they almost have banter, which is really cool. And I just feel like the dragons are their own separate characters in this book, which I wasn't expecting, and I really enjoy that. I think that the dragons add a whole nother level of interest. Another thing that adds a lot of interest is the risk that these characters are taking by being writers is super engaging as well. Like, you're constantly waiting for something to happen. The dynamic of just like their society as writers is very interesting. It's a very brutal society, so I wasn't really expecting that. It's just a brutal environment. So I think that keeps me very invested. The main character is just awesome. She is gonna have great character development. I know it. She's been set up to have great character development. I just am so in love with this book. From the very beginning, it has just kept me focused on it. And my attention is on it the whole time I'm reading. I feel like I'm so in the book. It's flying by. I am reading it so quickly, and it's upsetting. I don't want it to be over. The second one doesn't come out till November, so I have so long to wait. I'm almost sad that I started it because it's just so magical, but I'm happy to be reading it. So that's my update for this book. I will update you guys probably when I finish or when I get closer to the end. Hey guys, so I'm going to give a little update on how my reading is going. So pretty much I'm almost done with Fourth Wing. Okay, I'm to 450 pages exactly. The book only has like almost 500 pages, so I'm almost done. I'm in the home stretch. Things are happening, and I'm loving it. It is just one of the best books I've ever read. I'm just gonna say that. Amazing. The hype is seriously real. There's so many twists, so many turns. I felt like the author has done a really good job at making these characters almost like their weaknesses are almost relatable. So the author will give this, the author makes the character, right? And then they give them weaknesses and strengths, right? And I feel like sometimes the strengths so outweigh the weaknesses, especially in fantasy books, that it's hard to relate to as a human, which I know that can be like kind of stupid to think about, because like obviously me trying to relate to a fairy character, like, would it make sense? Because I'm like, how am I gonna relate to them? But you can relate. Like, I felt like I can relate to Farah. Like, I feel like I can relate to her about some things that she's gone through in her story or whatever. But like, there's a lot of things I can't, because she's obviously a fairy. Like, come on. But in Fourth Wing, I really feel like because they do have power themselves, right? But I feel like they have more of a human essence. I feel like I really can relate to these characters more. Like, yeah, they wield powers and they have dragons, but I don't feel like they in themselves are really more than human. Like, they have human problems, they have human emotions, and I just, like, yeah, the fairies have that too, but there's something about the weaknesses of these characters that makes sense. I don't even know if I'm really describing that correctly, but all I'm gonna say is my opinion is that I can relate to these characters so much more. So it's going really well. I did start Happy Place, which is also going really well. I'm not very far along. I'm only on chapter 4, but I really like it so far. Like, I don't know, all the characters are giving me good feelings. I don't know, I'm just really liking it. I like the whole like friend group situation that's going on. So I'm excited to read more. I really am. That's where I'm at right now. I'm gonna update you guys when I finish The Fourth Wing, my final thoughts, and then I'll let you know how far I am in Happy Place. Good morning, people. So last night, I did finish The Fourth Wing. My final thoughts are that this is one of the best books I've ever read. Point blank, 5 out of 5 for sure. The ending was just phenomenal. I don't want to say anything that's going to give any spoilers away, but just the relationship in this book really develops a lot, and you just see these characters really blossom, and the character development is just really, really good. So I'm really liking that. I love character development. I'm a sucker for like really, really good change. Like, yes, like be a bad bitch. I love that. Yes, this is definitely worth the hype. Okay, so apparently this is a 5-book series, so that's very exciting. I'm almost sad that I started it before all the books came out, but you just have to read these kind of books that are so hyped up because everyone's talking about them. And if you don't know what they're talking about, then you're kind of like left out of the conversation. And I hate that. Like, I want to know what everyone's talking about. So I'm glad that I read it. Am I sad that I'm reading an unfinished series? Yeah, I'm sad about it. But you know what? Can't always wait until a series is finished. I honestly probably will reread this book again before I read the new one that comes out because it just feels right. Okay, so I've been reading a little bit more of Happy Place. I took off the dust jacket, but I've been reading a little bit more of Happy Place. And before I started this book, I saw a YouTuber talking about how the writing is similar to Jessa Hastings' writing in Magnolia Parks. And I really didn't get that at first. And then as I've been introduced to the relationship between the main couple in this book so far that I've figured out, I understand that comparison because there's a lot of use of these analogies that the author is doing that, like, say the character is feeling some kind of way. She uses these analogies to like really like get you to understand on this like another level like what she means, like what the character is feeling and like what the character is thinking. It's really weird, and that's where I love Jessa Hastings' writing is like she uses these like comparisons that just you're like, yeah, that makes so much sense. Like she's feeling like da 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 da, and it makes so much sense. And Emily Henry is doing that in this book so far. I just encountered it and I was like, whoa, that's so Jessa Hastings. So I understand that comparison now. At first I was like, no, this is not Jessa Hastings writing. Like, what are you talking about? But now I kind of understand like what people were saying. So that makes me happy. This is definitely so far my favorite out of the Emily Henry books that I have read. It almost makes me want to go back and read her other books to like give them another chance because I don't know, I just feel like I didn't give them the solid chance that they deserve because some people love Emily Henry and I just never understood the hype. So maybe after I finish this, maybe I'll get my own copies of Beach Read and Book Lovers and I'll read them and really give them the chance that I think that they deserve, depending on how much I like this book. Yeah, so that's my update. I'm hoping to finish it in like 2 days, like today and maybe tomorrow, because I wanted to finish it before the month is over, which is so stupid, but I just like to like have my books done before the month is over. So this is what I'm gonna really focus on today, and maybe I can get it finished. It's flowing really nicely and I really am interested in it. So
I just finished Happy Place and I just got done sobbing hysterically. I don't know what is in this book, but it made me cry like a baby. So my heart is just like full, but I'm like sad. I don't know. I feel like this book encapsulates like so much about real life and like change and how you can't stop life from changing and how you have to take life by the horns and just do what you want to do with your life and like how that is so important. I feel like that's such a great message. And even I've like struggled with that in my life, like choosing what other people want me to do instead of doing what I want to do. So I don't know. I just feel like this had so many great messages. It was so much more than like just a romance. I felt like this had so much more going on. So 5 out of 5. Woo! We're 2 for O or O for 2. I don't know what that means, but yeah, 2 5 stars out of 3.
So I started and I'm DNFing. Here are my reasons. I have 3 main reasons why I'm DNFing this book. I feel like I gave it not a fair shot. I only got to like chapter 8. That's horrible. Okay, that is horrible when I'm DNFing. But it's putting me in a book slump. The time that I have to read in my life is so Like, the hours that I have to read are so few and far between that it's like, why would I waste them on a book that I'm not enjoying? Reading is supposed to be an enjoyable experience, right? And I like looked at the ratings for this book on Goodreads. It's like a 4.2 with a lot of ratings. So I know that I am going against a lot of opinions here with this, with me saying that I don't like this. Now, I didn't like the first book, so I think that has a lot to do with why I don't really like this book either. I think it's hard to continue a series or stay in like a world when you didn't enjoy it from the beginning. Like, some series it like picks up and it gets better, but this is a whole new story, so I'm starting over and I'm not really liking it. My number one reason why I'm DNFing is because I don't think this is the right time for me to be reading a romance like this. I can't handle the cheese in this book. The cheesy, like, billionaire who's a douchebag, and they're having like a fake marriage. And now you might be listening to this and you're like, oh my god, this is the book for me. Okay, because listen, I don't think the writing is bad, and I don't think that the characters are bad, and I think that the storyline is probably pretty good. I just don't like it. Like, there's just something about this world, and maybe it's because the fine print, the first one, the whole like Disney World thing really bothered me. I don't know what that was, but like the pretend Disney World that they were in really bothered me. Like, it just didn't feel right. Like, why are they doing sexual things in a theme park for children? Maybe that's just me being really way too critical. But, okay, so let's talk about this book. I like Iris. I don't like Declan. I probably would if I kept reading. I probably would like Declan because he probably, like, becomes, like, really cool. I just feel like what's really throwing me off about this is the main character, Iris, her casualness towards their fake dating or fake marriage situation. Why is it so casual for her? Why can she just so easily jump into such a serious arrangement? Like, marriage and a child? That is not a joke. And literally within the first, like, 2 chapters of this book, she is agreeing to a marriage and having a child with this man. Now, she's known him for a long time because she worked for him, but they weren't like close, and he was kind of a dick, and so now she's just gonna marry him. She's gonna upheave her whole life and just marry this guy, and he doesn't even want to be married to her. He's marrying her for money. Like, I just can't. Okay, I know it's a romance, and this is like what romances can be made of. It's this like cheesy thing. Like, it's so unrealistic, but it's like interesting to read about. I get that, and I understand that this is a book for some people, because there's some books that have this level of cheese that I love. I'm like, yes, give me the cheese, give me the craziness, but I loved the characters, and I thought that the situation, like, I liked it. I liked the trope. This is not a trope for me. I don't think I like the fake dating trope. I just don't think it's my kind of trope. I should have known. Now I'm criticizing this book so harsh, and I know some people will like it. So don't take me DNFing it as a reason to not read it. I think that you should read this series. I do. I think that if you like romance books, you probably will like this series. I just think that this is not for me right now. Maybe one day in the future I will pick this up and be like, I want it revived, and then I'll read it and I'll love it. I don't think today is that day, and life is too short to be in a reading slump, people. So take this as your sign to not let yourself bully yourself into reading books you don't want to read. So I'm not letting myself be bullied by myself. I'm just gonna DNF it, gonna put it down, gonna tell you guys how I felt because it's part of this video, and it is a very big book on TikTok and the internet in general, so, or a very big series, sorry, I should say. So those are just my thoughts. But if you like fake dating and you like older guy and workplace kind of romance and you like hot rich guys, this is for you. Hi guys, thanks so much for watching this video. I just wanted to come on here and say bye. I also wanted to remind you to follow me on TikTok, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram Threads, follow me on Goodreads. I do it all. I also am super big about updating my Goodreads. So if you want to know what I'm reading currently and like how long it's taken me and what I've read so far and all my ratings and everything, it's all on there. Pretty much everything I've ever read is on my Goodreads. So definitely check that out if you're interested in that. See ya. Bye.